Crushing the meta.
Big welcome to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta, and today I'm here with a deck profile of Rising Nova. So this is the deck that I used in the relay in the last tournament and the tournament before that, which we won the two tournaments, which was great. This is a little bit improved version of the first one, so it's a bit different. On the second tournament, we decided to try a relay fight without the GB8s, and it was alright, but we still thought why not to include the GB8s in the next one. So in this deck profile, this would be the Rising Nova deck that I would play in a relay fight. If you haven't seen our first two videos or two deck profiles were on Fenrir, Genesis, and Angel Feather Gabriel, which were also very nice. I will put them in the description section below for you guys to watch and enjoy. So yeah, let's just go with the deck profile, and I will tell you why I chose for some of the cards and why is the deck a little bit different. So if we start with the grade 3 lineup, of course we go with 4 copies of Rising Nova. As you can see, these are not the SP ones. It's because this is the relay fight deck and not my own deck. In my own deck, I play the SPs. So 4 copies of Rising Nova. Normally I don't really rely on him, because when going into Dirty Picaro you could also still call. So in the first game I played on Gabriel, and I was able to get more attacks because Gabriel could put one of your units in the damage zone, and then you could call something back and charge it. So you could get one more attack boosted by Frog Raider, then you could attack with your Dirty Picaro, which is on the top of Gabriel, and then call more. The only thing is that Frog Raider will not restand because you don't have Rising Nova. That's the only downside, and that's why I also play less lethal forward in this deck. When you want to finish your opponent off, you go into him, because that's when your lethal and Frog Raider will be active, and then you could finish your opponent off. So very important, if you play relay and you don't want to rely on him, then you remember your Frog Raider and lethal will not work. The same with Lyre Lips, she will not go away. 4 copies of Hive Maker and 4 copies of Bulldozer Dope. Well, the reason why you play so much grade 3s is because I don't play Stride Fallers, so there is no reason to play Stride Fallers because they help you out to get him, but you don't have to go from grade 1, grade 2 to grade 3. You will start at grade 3 most of the time, so you will be able to use them to stride and have them in your deck to go for a strong attack or for a bigger combo. So that's why I play more grade 3s. Grade 2 lineup, of course, I play 4 copies of Tiger. This is just a so strong card, so good in relay and in normal fights. The Tiger is amazing. I still hope that this card would get an SP or a promo version or something that you could see a full art, or maybe a second art, which also would be crazy. A fan art, which also would be nice. Yeah, I'd love to see him in a different art. Yeah, because this card deserves more than a common. Next, I played 3 copies of Cobalt Impulse and only 2 copies of Lethal Forward. Normally I'm a bigger fan of Lethal Forward, but because it's a relay, sometimes you're not on your Rising Nova, so that's why your Cobalt Impulse would still be very good, but your Lethal Forward won't do much. So yeah, that's it for the grade 2 lineup. Grade 1, I play 3 or 4 copies of Alma, because I want to go into Dirty Picaro multiple times. If you play a deck which is based on the GB8, which in our last tournament, as I said, we didn't play the GB8, then this card is good. But if you play a deck based on the GB8, then you could switch them for the other charge BGs, which are alright, but you don't get the counter charges. So that's why I like to play them, because to trust them more, and I do need a counter blast to do bigger combo. And also because in our second tournament, I went as a second fighter, and the third one, Menno was playing favorite champ. He's playing Nova Grappler's Victor, so he do needs the counter blast. So even in my last turn, if I can't defend, or if I want to give him a good favorite champ turn, then I will still just use Alma to discard 2 cards but still give him the counter charge. 3 copies of Rogue Raider. You want to see this card at least once, or have him in your deck to call him with Dirty Piccolo to build up your field to the final turn, which you could do with a Miracle Ace or Hellard 8. It doesn't matter if you go into the GB8. GB8 is a very good finisher, but Miracle Ace does the same, especially in the relay. Because in relay, if you go Miracle Ace, then you have your charge units left in your deck, so you could do Dirty Piccolo again or another Miracle Ace. But if you go and use Hellard 8 and get rid of all your charge units, then after that you will lose because you can't do anything to finish the second opponent off. So keep that in mind. Hillard 8 is a very strong card, but it's a double-edged sword. Air Force Eliza, playing 2 copies of her. Normally I like 3, but now I'm playing only 2 because I play more copies of Mega Trainer in here. So I can't use her recklessly because of the Counter Blast, and she comes in handy when you need her with Dirty Piccolo. I didn't really need the 3rd one in the tournament, but maybe because I was lucky. But sometimes you can call the 2 Lizas if they can't take any damage left, and you could go and do more Tiger attack with them, so you attack 4 times with the Tiger, because the Frog Raider won't do much if you don't have a Rising Nova anyway, so why not go Eliza? Then 4 copies of Mega Trainer. I'm not a big fan of a 4 copy of him, but I didn't want to go into him because sometimes you don't draw your PGs or your heal triggers, and that's when you can't defend yourself in the relay, because you didn't have the whole match to build up your hand. So the Mega Trainers do help a lot to be able to get your defending hand if needed. The Frog Raider if you want to go Miracle Ace first turn, which is crazy. So yeah, it's a very good card and I do like it in the relay. I do also, in my normal build, I play now 3 just to test out how it works. It works alright, but it doesn't feel like my own deck, because it's still turbo into the GB8. The thing is, against some decks you do want to turbo into the GB8, and against some others you don't really need to. So that's why I do still like to have the option to play 2 or 3 to make the deck able to turbo if you needed to, and not if you want to the Counter Blast or you want to go into late game, let's say against Kagero, which normally you do want to go against late game with them. The same with Gears, you do want to go to late game with them. 4 heal triggers, yeah, these are very good. They go into the soul if you use the right G Guardian, and they are shiny, so that's perfect. And they are the only male heal triggers that we have in Spy Brothers. Then Lyre Lips, 4 copies of her. Yeah, I do like this card a lot, especially with the GB8 turn, but also when you go into Frog Raider and you do the combo attack with it, and it goes into the soul, call something else. In the relay, it's less effective because most of the time you don't have a Rising Nova Vanguard, in my case. So I could take 1 Lyre Lips out to put 1 more Silent Joker in here, because the Silent Jokers are perfect in a relay. You could call them on the top of another unit of your teammate that you don't want on the field. Then he goes into the soul and you have a counter charge. After that, when Dirty Piccolo attacks, you could still call units on open regular circles. So the Silent Jokers are very important also for your teammates if they need the counter charge. Then they would help a lot. Also, being a critical trigger is of course very good. Then playing 3 draw triggers. In my last deck I played 4 and I didn't really need it at 4. So in this deck I play a 3. Next time I would play 2 and I will put 1 more Silent Joker in the deck. Once because the Silent Joker is very good, and second is because that your opponent does not expect you running so much critical triggers, and they will let your Vanguard attack go through. 2 Devil Watches, they're in here because you want to go into Dirty Piccolo multiple times, and they do help a lot with that. Just being there behind your attacking units give you the counter charge back. If not for you, it's for your teammate if you go second. The extra deck. Going through G Guardians, I play 2 copies of Terrible Linus. This card is good. It's very good. It's like a no pass for your opponent's 26 Vanguard attack. Unflip something so you could turbo if you want to. Next, I play 1 maximum. The reason why I only play 1 is that you do not really need him anymore, because Linus does the same. The only good thing about him is he doesn't unflip anything, and that's when the relay ruling comes in, which I hope that Bushrod will give us new rulings. We're still thinking about the GB ruling. How could we make Big Belly less effective, and at the same time, how do we make the G Guardians fair to use? So in the last tournament we said you could play up to 6 G Guardians. So in this card text it said if you have 3 or less face-up G Guardian in your G zone, then you could use a G Guardian, and we changed that text to 5. So if you have 5 or less, you could use a G Guardian. That means that you can't use your unflippers recklessly, because your teammate would maybe not be able to use G Guardians because of that. So that's why he's still in here. Also, sometimes you do want to put units from the field back to your deck, and you don't really want them in your soul because you want to use them again. So that's why he's also good. 1 Irie, sometimes to flip with him, and sometimes he's just good at a 31 guard. 1 Desmil, always good to have at least 1 Desmil in every deck. 1 Lily, I do like this card a lot. Just pressure your opponent. If you play against Freeze Ray, then this card is very good. Normally they would just let her go through, and that's when you call something, and then because they get the damage first, they can't lock that unit, but when that unit attacks, of course they can lock it. But against like Blink Jokers, Mega Colony, those clans, this card is very good. Sometimes against Kagura, also very good. Just pressure them. Next, 1 GB8. As I said, Hillard 8 was not able to play in the last tournament, but that's alright. I hope in the next one that we will be able to put him back in here, because this is a very good card, especially in spikes. The GB8 is not really needed as a finisher, because you can finish your opponent off your first, second, third stride. You have a lot of good strides, like Dirty Picaro, like Miracle Ace, like even Rising Nova on his second turn. But we still like to have at least 1 Hellward 8 in our decks, because this card is just amazing, and the combos that you could do with him and the Frog Raider are insane. So I do like to have him in here. So at least 1. And then we go into 2 copies of Dirty Picaro, 2 copies of Miracle Ace, and 4 copies of Supernova. Well, Supernova is very good to start up with, and sometimes just to have the chilling turn, as I like to call it, when you don't really do much but you pressure your opponent. Sometimes you want to charge units that you already have on the field because you left them on the field because your last opponent in the relay did not guard. So let's say you attack with your Vanguard, you charge or call 2 units with Dirty Picaro. So let's say you have a Dirty Picaro turn, you attack with Dirty Picaro, call 2 units, and you charge them, but they lose on this attack. Then you have 2 face-up or 2 cards in the front row that are not charged, and if you don't want to intercept with them because they are tigers and you need them in your deck, you go into him and you attack, and you can't charge the 2 of them, because with Dirty Picaro you already unflipped 1, and with him you unflip the second, so you have 2 face-up cards of him in the G zone, and that's when you are able to make the 2 units charge. If you play, if you have your Rising Nova Vanguard on as your heart and you attack with him, you could still go and call your Axe Diver, and the Axe Diver will still charge 1 more unit, and then you will be able to give the extra 10Ks. But I don't play the Axe Diver in here because the Axe Diver is another card that only works with the Rising Nova. True Miracle Ace, of course, this card is so good. It's just like a Hellard 8. I still think that people underestimate him because we have him right now, but still this card is so good, especially if you go and get all your charge units in your hand, then you have to go and use him. There is one slot left that I could use, and that could be a second Hillard 8 or a third Dirty Picaro in this deck. Normally I play a Sea Breeze, but if you go second or third, then you don't need a Sea Breeze anymore. So you could choose any of them to put in your deck. We are playing a ruling that you could only use one GB8 or none, so that's why I have only one copy of him in here. You could go and use a third Dirty Picaro if needed, which is also good in this deck because you could use multiple ones, especially if you, as I said, if you attack with him and your opponents lose without guarding, then you have wasted 2 counterblasts on nothing because they let the attack go through anyway. You have interceptors, but that's it. If you call trade 2s. And of course, you could also play the fourth and the third and fourth Miracle Ace by taking the Lily out or taking either Picaro out or not playing the GB8. You could go and use a second and third or third and a fourth Miracle Ace for a second Miracle Ace turn, because it's the same with Dirty Picaro. Sometimes you go into Miracle Ace, and when they see it's a Miracle Ace and you have a Frog Raider, they will let this attack go through, and then on their then the second player or the third player goes in and they attack you and you defend. You could go into the second Miracle Ace, which would be the third one, and you could just finish them off again. So yeah, you could play any if you want. It depends on your team, the team that you're playing in, and the deck that you're using. But normally, I advise you to play the 4 Supernova, at least 2 Miracle Aces, and at least 2 Dirty Picaro, because this card gives you an unfair advantage in the relay and in the normal matches. This card is so good. Just fill up your field without losing a lot. Just 1 card from your hand, but the counterblast is very heavy. But it's alright for such a good call. Lily, don't underestimate her, use her. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile. I still am very surprised that we finally got support in the GB13. Yeah, the set 13, which will come up I think in December, which is alright. So yeah, I'm very hopeful that we will get a second Rising Nova and some more charge units, maybe a new Perfect Guard, a new SP pack. So yeah, I'm very hyped for Spikes, and thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to go to our YouTube channel if you're not on it. If you're on it, go to our Facebook page or group and see what we post there. We post a lot of fun thoughts, things that we like there, and we have a lot of friends that support us, especially on Facebook. We have more friends on Facebook that we have subscribers on YouTube, which is crazy, but that's why it's a group that all people could ask us stuff and talk with us and tell us what they want to see next. So go watch that if you have the time, and till next time.